So the last time we did this, we allowed our users to log into our app. Oh, that does not look right. Oh, there we go. And we were able to get this object back here that represents the user when they are logged in. But the thing is, our app doesn't show any signs of actually having a logged in user. Have you noticed that? Yeah. We want a way to make sure that when our user logs in, we can show that our user is actually logged into the page. We probably don't want to have them on the sign up page when they log into our app. Does that make sense? Yeah. There's a couple ways to do that, but I'm going to show you one very, very simple, not that good way to do it, and then we're going to do a better way afterwards. Cool? Here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to go into Cloud9, and I want you to create a new file. So I'm going to go to my terminal. I am going to touch a new file called profile.html, but I want to make it inside the connection folder, so I'm going to say connection/profile.html. Or actually, let's call it feed. Let's do the feed first. Let's just call it a feed. I'm not going to take it to their profile, I'm just going to have a feed. Or like timeline or whatever Facebook has for our fake book. I didn't do it yet. I just said touch connection/feed.html. I want to put a feed.html file inside this connection folder. And it should appear right there. Everybody have that so far? When you open up that feed.html, there's nothing in there. I want you to copy everything from your index.html into your feed.html. And then I want you to delete everything except everything inside the body. Actually, everything except for the div with the class of navbar. Keep that. But everything else I want you to delete. So right now it just looks like this. We're going to keep the navbar there so it looks normal. I deleted everything inside the body except for that script.js at the bottom and the navbar at the top. Does everybody see that? Now in the middle of this page, I'm going to create another main like this. And I'm going to put an image inside here with a source equal to nothing and just leave it there. So once again, I created a new file called feed.html. I copied everything from the index.html into the feed.html. And then I deleted everything inside the body except for the navbar and this script at the bottom. After I did that, I put another main section in there, and I gave it, inside there I put an image with a source equal to nothing. We had a main in here too. I gave it a main with a class of main. I should probably do the same thing, but whatever.
And we should go back to the script.
The script?
Oh, like,
this? Now what I want to happen is as soon as someone logs in from our index page, I want to take them to our feed page and then put their image right in here. So I'm going to give this image an ID of, let's call this avatar. So what we'll do is we'll select this avatar image and we will log the user in as soon as they navigate to the feed.html. Is that cool? Now to do that, we're going to need to write a little bit of code. So right here in the script, I'm going to go back to the script.js really quickly. And as soon as the user logs in, we say, hey, authenticate with Google, firebase.auth.signin with popup, which is what happens whenever we decide to sign in. If I come in here and I authenticate with Google, it'll give me a pop-up like this. It'll say, hey, who are you? Tell me who you are. Do you want to log in? Or if I've already logged in, it'll just authenticate me. And then it'll send back this little section here, which has my display name, my email, my phone number, which is null, perfect. I'm really glad I'm not showing you my phone number. And my photo URL, which is a link to an image of me. Now, there's a bunch of other stuff in there that we don't need, but those are the important piece of information. Now, when you do this with Firebase, we want to, as soon as the user is logged in, let's console.log them, and then let's send them to the feed.html page. Okay? So we should do this. We should do window.location.href is equal to feed.html. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, and let me show you exactly why, is because if you go to the connection app right now, and I were to refresh this page, and then I were to go to the URL and go to the very end of the URL, right here, after I've submitted all this information, and I just want to put, instead of, see where it says index.html at the top? I don't know if you can see that up here. Index.html, you see that? Change that to feed.html and tell me what happens. Just replace index.html with feed.html, and what comes up? You should get an empty screen. Does everybody get that? Now, if you get that, if it says feed.html and you get a blank screen, that's because it took us to the feed.html page. So we've now linked from our index page to our feed.html page, allowing us to have two different parts of our application. So when a user logs in, we'll take them, we'll say, hey, set the window.location.hypertext reference, this part up here, link it to the feed.html. I'm just going to put that there. And let's see what happens. Are you ready? So I'm going to go back to the index.html and see if that works. Let's refresh. Cool. Authenticate with Google. Great. It's going to authenticate for me because I've already logged in once. Bam. And now it takes me to feed.html. See if that happens for you. If it does, you're good to go. If it doesn't, you might have an error. Now notice that I have this error down here. Cannot read property add event listener of null, which is saying, hey, I'm trying to find the Google login button and it doesn't exist anymore. That's fine. That's totally okay. Cool. We're going to have to use a different script file to make this work because it's trying to find a Google button and it doesn't have one. And so if we want to get rid of that error, we'll have to use a different script file. And I'll show you what to do next. But once you can get that to work, once you log in, it should take you to your feed.html page. If that works, you're good to go. Any questions? Yes, question. Doesn't work for you? Okay, cool. If it doesn't work for you, I'll come around and help you out. Otherwise, just make sure you get this blank page coming up as soon as you're done.